Hello and welcome to another story time session from my book Stumbling Upon Myself, which is all about exploring this journey of life, this journey of our own experience, of the stories that affect us and that we create in our minds. So I'm gonna see what comes up. Oh, okay, today it's all about talents. So here's the image that you can download from my members area. And here comes the story. Patience is not my strong suit. When I commit to something, I commit fully. But things have to flourish relatively quickly if I'm to stay on that path. When they don't, I get bored and look for the next shiny object that attracts my attention. This was manageable when I was younger, seeing each adventure as an opportunity to gain experience and try my hand at different trades. But by the time my kids were adults, I felt like I was still in a place of doubt and indecision, and that was unacceptable. It didn't matter that I was passionate about what I did or that I had helped amazing people and teams accomplish beautiful things. I was still questioning my choices, always thinking I would be better at something else. Then one day, my son confronted me with the idea that I might have ADD. I started to study the concept as well as the challenges these people faced. It became clear to me that not only had I spent half a century struggling with a brain that found it very hard to be satisfied with anything I did, I also judged myself for being indecisive when my true nature is to embrace and pursue multiple paths. This is what makes me come alive. By denying myself permission to explore a variety of avenues at the same time, I was trying to fit my star-shaped spirit into a square hole. The pressure of choosing the right path was all the more overwhelming because I knew that I would have to be satisfied with something that could never fulfill me completely, simply because one thing was not enough. I realize now that it never truly mattered which path I was going to choose, nor how long I was to stay on it, because ultimately all paths cross each other again somewhere down the road. My only job now is to know why I do what I do, and when I do, to embrace every ounce of pleasure that it presents me with in that moment in time. The paths that cross each other again. So yes, realizing after my son was diagnosed with ADHD as an adult, because he was struggling during his studies in architecture, and he came back home and said, Mom, it is hereditary, and I think I know why I got it from. And so he started questioning me, and I said, yes, but everybody struggles with this and everybody struggles with that, only to realize, well, maybe they don't, maybe not to that extent. And I did some research into some other things, human design, gene keys, and things like that, and the same thing keeps coming up. I'm just somebody who loves to do many things at once, and while that is overwhelming, and I do feel like I'm not getting anywhere fast enough with everything, focusing on just that one thing, while everybody would tell me all the time, just do this thing, finish that before you start something new, I always felt that it didn't actually help me. They were trying to help me, of course, because I was getting overwhelmed, because my ideas were all over the place. But those ideas that set me into exploring new possibilities. I needed them. I need them in order to finish the thing that I'm working on, because then I know already what I'm going to be working on next. If I'm putting all my energy into this one thing, um, without starting to sort of plant seeds for the next, it's I feel limited. I feel restrained. I feel like I'm in a straitjacket. And exploring this again made me realize that what I beat myself up about a lot when I was younger, and even, recently, was this indecision all the time that I could never be satisfied, was not necessarily a bad thing, that everybody's built differently, and that some it's a social thing, isn't it, to say focus on one thing, become a master of that. But I think what makes each human unique and fabulous is to not only explore all the things that they're attracted to, but to leave space for some people to be a jack of all trades, to hone in and bring together all these different interests so that they can create something special that's sort of a combination. For me, it took me many years before I integrated drawing into my coaching business, because I thought people would think it's silly because I hadn't seen it being done. Yes, art therapy, but that's something different. But to give myself permission to integrate drawing, playing into something that was supposed to be very, serious, it took me a very long time because I was judging it and I was worried about how other people would see it. And now I just feel comfortable with what I'm bringing together because they're all aspects of me. And while each one, excuse me, individually, many people do, brought together, it just feels like my thing. It's me. It's permission from me to myself to do everything that I'm passionate about. So I hope that if you are someone who has several interests and is worried about not becoming a master of something, and because you're interested in too many things and debating on whether to drop something. I've had many clients who have come to me and said, well, I'm interested in this and I'm interested in that. But I feel that I need to make a decision. I'm here to make a decision which one to pursue. I could tell that no matter what they would decide, they would feel like they're losing something. They would feel like they're cutting off an arm. They're cutting off a part of them just because they felt the pressure that they had to become an absolute master at one thing. And after the session, exploring how these two things were an integral part of their being, of their passion, of their path, and how to bring these two things into the same space and to fulfill both of them in one way or another would actually add to both parts of this journey. Whether they brought it together the way I did or whether they pursued them separately, doing the one would enrich the other and doing the other would enrich the one. I would present it like a ladder. If you're going up a ladder, you have your left foot and you have your right foot. You're not going to go up just with one foot. It's much more strenuous. So, no matter how different, no matter how opposite your interests might be, to cut one off is to cut off the energy from the one you do pursue, in my experience, in my persona. So I just want to invite you to explore if that is something you have a tendency to do, or what it would be like if you did integrate everything that you love into your life. Books on sale, 20% off until the end of this, until Christmas. Sorry, the 24th of December. You can find all the information, some downloads on my website in the members area. And I send you much love and see you next time.